Good morning, everyone. Today, I'm going to be ranking every single main level in Geometry Dash. To rank these, I'll be taking uniqueness, memorability, coin placements, and most importantly, gameplay into account. Also, I won't be ranking these based on what they introduced or when they came out, so even though Stereo Madness came out 4 years before Finger Dash did, it'll still be ranked the same in order to make these reviews as objective as possible. In other words, the time that a level came out does not matter at all. And one final note before we get started, make sure to remember that just because a level is low on the list, it doesn't mean that the level is bad. It just means that it isn't as good as the other main levels. And because opinions are in fact opinions, you are rightfully allowed to have a different opinion than me, just like how everyone else is allowed to have a different opinion from you. In other words, please don't harass anyone in the comments. At number 21, we have X-Step. The main reason that I placed X-Step here is because I always forget it exists. It's just so unmemorable to me. It's not a bad level per se, it just gets outclassed by another level in almost everything it does. It also doesn't help that the coins are pretty bad. The level also does have a few dumb timings, mainly in this ball part right here, but aside from that, the gameplay is decently creative and mostly fun to play. It's just not memorable enough to outclass the other levels. At number 20, we have Base After Base. This level also suffers from the problem of just being too darn unmemorable. It basically just repeats everything that the other levels did before it, except slightly harder. The main problem is that it just seems like a less interesting clone of Can't Let Go. Although personally I think Can't Let Go is a decent level, having another level that's just Can't Let Go but worse isn't necessarily a good thing. At number 19, we have Geometrical Dominator. I really wanted to rank this higher because this level has a lot that I like. The gameplay for the first 40% is pretty fun, and the decoration for most of it is pretty good and shows off the new 2.0 stuff well. The problems lie with the other 60%. The gameplay is just so bland. There's nothing of note here, there's no creativity or anything. And of course, we have the dreaded memory section. This section sucks. There's literally no other way of putting it, it just sucks. I mean, sure, there's stars showing where the platforms will spawn, but I think the fact that most players, including me, didn't even notice that should probably tell you that it wasn't pulled off very well. Memory sections work best in Demons. Doing them in easier levels can work sometimes, but in this case, it does not work at all. It's a massive difficulty spike, and it isn't very fun to play either. At number 18, we have Cycles. Cycles, similarly to Geometrical Dominator, why did I say it like that? Similar to Geometrical Dominator, starts out pretty good. The gameplay is mostly fun and puts you into many interesting and creative situations. The problems lie with almost everything else. This first ball part is pretty boring, but overall isn't that bad. Then we hop right into the ship part. Wow, look at this riveting gameplay! Then we return to another ball section, and I have to admit, this is decently fun. Although sadly that wasn't enough to save this level from mediocrity. At number 17, we have Dryout. The strange thing with Dryout is that it doesn't necessarily do anything wrong. Instead, it's just so average with everything it does that everything it does gets outclassed by another level. By the way, the next couple entries are pretty much all going to be 1.0 levels, just because all of them, at least in my opinion, are pretty similar in quality. So, yeah, just sorry about that. At number 16, we are Back on Track. Wait, is that like a typo or something? At number 16, we have Back on Track. Fun fact, did you know that Back on Track is the hardest level in the game? Okay, but in all seriousness, Back on Track has a pretty similar problem to Dryout, and that's that almost everything it does gets outclassed by another level. It's not unique at all. It doesn't have any bad qualities per se, but it doesn't really have any redeeming qualities either. At number 15, we have Stereo Madness. Being the first level, it's pretty simple. And I mean, yeah, it's supposed to be simple, but that doesn't really save it from being boring. At number 14, we have Poltergeist. This coin is stupid. That's literally the only unique thing about this level. At number 13, we have Can't Let Go. As I said earlier, it's basically just a better Base After Base. The gameplay is a little more fun than Base After Base, but it's still pretty average. At number 12, we have Jumper. Definitely the best of the 1.0 levels. This gameplay is pretty fun, and is actually quite unique compared to the other 1.0 levels. Also, this section is quite satisfying to play. I like it. At number 11, we have Time Machine, and oh my goodness, we're finally done with the 1.0 levels. Let's go! Time Machine is a genuinely pretty fun level. Aside from this blind jump while getting the third coin, the level's pretty fun. At number 10, we have Theory of Everything. The gameplay throughout the level is pretty fun, and there are a lot of creative sections like this little dip inside the floor. This idea was technically taken from X-Step, but in my opinion, X-Step does it worse anyway. The decoration also looks quite nice. At number 9, we have Finger Dash. The gameplay throughout the first section is pretty fun and contains some pretty creative orb chains. The next couple sections tone down the creativity a bit, but overall it's still quite enjoyable. I also feel like the ending wave and spider sections are pretty decently big difficulty spikes, but then again I'm pretty bad at both wave and spider anyway, so take that with a grain of salt. At number 8, we have Clutterfunk. Throughout most of the level, you're zipping up and down and all around, and oh man, it flows so well! The unique song fits the unique gameplay quite well, and of course, you can't forget the iconic cow farts. At number 7, we have Theory of Everything 2. The gameplay in this level is just plain fun. This level is also one of the few levels I've seen that actually uses player colors well. At number 6, we have Electroman Adventures. Throughout the entire level, the gameplay is so fun and flows so well. There isn't a single negative about this level's gameplay, except for maybe this mirror portal transition, which then again isn't even that bad. The decoration looks quite good too. Although the gameplay doesn't necessarily do anything wrong, there are still a few levels that have slightly higher highs. At number 5, we have Hexagon Force. Similarly to Electroman Adventures, the level barely does anything wrong, although it does do a bit more than Electroman Adventures. But the difference with Hexagon Force is that it's even more fun to play than Electroman Adventures, with the duels of course coming in clutch. Also, no, the duel isn't bugged. At number 4, we have Blast Processing. The gameplay is decently creative and loads of fun. The wave gameplay is pretty top tier as well, although it's a bit slow for my taste. The decoration is quite unique, and I think this is one of the only main levels to consistently add a new block design for almost every single part. Also, the Bwomp is iconic, how can I not mention that? At number 3, we have Electrodynamics. The cube gameplay is all fun as usual, but what really makes this level stand out is the ship and UFO gameplay. There's just nothing else like it, well at least not in the main levels anyway. In the ship sections, you're quickly shooting up and down at rapid speeds and it's really chaotic. With the UFO sections, you're clicking to actual click patterns instead of just using the UFO as a weird alternative to the ship. And of course, the song is a banger. At number 2, we have Clubstep. Clubstep is the definition of a test of skill. This level takes everything you've learned from the previous levels and crams it into one extremely difficult and satisfying to complete gauntlet. The gameplay in the opening is already really fun, but in my opinion the level really starts to shine at 40% and onward. With the tight ship and UFO sections, this level truly feels like one of those "this is how far we've come" moments when you first beat it. At number 1, we have drumroll sound effect Deadlocked. It's hard to put why I love this level so much into words. I think it's just that this level has so much to offer that seemingly no other level can. It has actually sight-readable teleport portals. It has moving obstacles that aren't inconsistent and buggy to pass. It has crazy custom gameplay gimmicks like no other main level does. The level takes everything wrong with early 2.0 levels and fixes them. And the crazy part is that RobTop fixed all these problems within Deadlocked before those levels even existed. My only real complaint is that the wave gameplay is a little bit much compared to the rest of the level, but overall it's not that big of a jump. So, that was my ranking of every main level in GD. To recap, the list went X-Step, Base After Base, Geometrical Dominator, Cycles, Dryout, Back on Track, Stereo Madness, Polargeist, Can't Let Go, Jumper, Time Machine, Theory of Everything, Finger Dash, Clutterfunk, Theory of Everything 2, Electroman Adventures, Hexagon Force, Blast Processing, Electrodynamics, Clubstep, and Deadlocked. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, feel free to like and subscribe. And if you didn't like this video, feel free to dislike and unsubscribe. Peace!